To read or not to read? We're sorry, Shakespeare, but that's a question we have to ask ourselves sometimes. When it comes to action, though, movies do it so well. Between the stunts, explosions, and fights, sometimes it's hard to imagine that it all came from a book. So let's talk about 5 action movies that you didn't know were based on books. Coming up on number 5, we have Jaws. The Spielberg feature is now considered a classic. The action in this film is jam-packed with nerve-wracking sequences of absolute horror. The 1975 film continued with 3 sequels and even a theme park ride. Though the movie is centered on the people in specific areas of the US and Bahamas, the main character is a giant white shark, and this shark is out for blood. And hold on, there are 3 men out to kill it. The movie is based on a book of the same name by author Peter Benchley. We don't know about you, but we're scared about his inspiration for writing this novel. So Benchley had a fascination with sharks all his life. He shared that he fashioned the book's concept after reading about the great white shark caught by Frank Mundus in 1964. We guess Benchley was not afraid of sharks. We developed a phobia after the book and the movie, but not Benchley. So once, while participating in a family sword fishing expedition in Nantucket, they couldn't find any swordfish. However, they found the ocean filled with sharks. Instead of running for their lives, they started catching sharks instead. Yes, you heard that right. Even though the movie is incredible, the novel was successful when it first came out. Seeing the movie's potential, the producers purchased production rights before it was published. Guess movie makers can spot a movie even in a book, huh? And we are glad about it. Next, on number 4, we have Jack Reacher. The movie in 2012 was an adaptation of One Shot. This is the 9th installment of Lee Child series, which follows an ex-military policeman who travels the nation and finds danger. Can't you just see Tom Cruise as this heroic figure? Well, we certainly can, but book readers might disagree. Fans of the book quickly pointed out that the Top Gun actor Tom Cruise was nowhere near the fictional character's 6'5" height. Even though Cruise had the stardom to get the movies done, many people didn't buy them, including author Lee Child himself. The writer criticized the choice to put the 5'7" actor in a position expected to include some physical intimidation. This became an issue because Reacher's height and build were supposed to be a symbolic warning to those who dared to cross him. Well, Cruise can do that too, as we all know. Even the author later agreed that Cruise managed to carry the "dude, don't mess with me" message in his way. But it's a Tom Cruise movie through and through for us.
How's it going? Don't.
It's also seen that there was a lot more shooting in the movie. And even though all the villains were dead by the movie's end, 2 major ones survive in the book. While some might not agree with the changes in the ending, we certainly enjoyed the movie. Sadly, we're not seeing any more Jack Reacher movies in production now. However, if you're not yet done with Reacher, we have good news. Reacher will be coming to Amazon soon. There's a little something here for the book readers too.
Listen, man, I'm just having a bad day. Won't happen again.
The author of the book is an executive producer. We might be seeing a more faithful adaptation with the action that we just can't get enough of. Moving on at number 3, we have V for Vendetta. The movie is based on a cult classic comic book of the same name. It was written between 1982 and 1989 by Alan Moore and David Lloyd. Readers agreed that it is one of the finest comics ever written. Not only is it unique in its form, but also its concept has come to symbolize defiance in the face of oppression. In the movie, after World War II, a fascist government took control of London, making it a police state. A vigilante named V utilizes terrorist tactics to combat the oppressors in his new world. V finds an ally in his struggles against England's oppressors, and when he rescues a young woman named Evie from the secret police. We know how the movie kept us on the edge of our seats, but we've heard that the book contains greater depth. The movie utilizes creative license to mold the characters to fit Hollywood standards. So watch out. Suppose you're moving on to the movie directly after reading the comic book. In that case, you might be disappointed because it's not a faithful translation. The movie's more tailored to highlight the US policies. However, the movie and the book both have different goals and succeed in their ways. It's excellent action-packed entertainment either way, folks. We've got 2 adaptations from a fantastic concept. We can't complain, can we? And who can ever forget V's iconic mask, the very symbol of defiance now? Next up at number 2, we have Total Recall. The original inspiration for Total Recall is a 21-page story from the science fiction legend Philip K. Dick. The story is called we can't remember it for you wholesale. Now, if you're a reader and love science fiction, you'd appreciate the genius of Philip K. Dick. More recently, the show The Man in the High Castle was also adapted from his work. In just 20 pages, the writer extraordinaire lays out the plot that we loved in the film Total Recall. The narrative of the short story centers on Douglas Quayle, an ordinary earthbound man with dreams of seeing Mars. He has a boring desk job as a clerk, and his wife enjoys poking fun at his aspirations. Quayle learns about Recall Incorporated, a business that sells memory implants that replace real-world experience. He truly believes that he's a covert spy who assassinated a political worker on Mars, and that his true life is a lie, not a fabricated memory. There have been 2 adaptations of the same movie, one in 1990 with Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other in 2012 starring Colin Farrell. The later adaptation had more ability to incorporate the futuristic premise of the film through special effects. The 1990 adaptation seems a bit more outdated, as we've all become used to state-of-the-art visual effects. However, there seems to be little lost in translation in the movies. The producers and the movie makers understood the assignment. Finally, as number 1, we have the one and only Die Hard. With Christmas just around the corner, Die Hards will soon be playing on our living room screens. But if you wanted, you could curl up next to the fire with the book it's adapted from too. Die Hard is based on Roderick Thorpe's book Nothing Lasts Forever. It's focused on a retired policeman called Joe Leland who has to save his child, Stephanie Gennaro. His mission is against terrorists when they seize control of Stephanie's large office building in Los Angeles on Christmas Eve. They detain all the guests at the holiday party. Sounds like the stuff of nightmares. But don't worry, this little problem birthed the legendary character of John McClane, and John McClane will do to these people what they deserve. Now you're probably thinking, nope, it doesn't sound like Die Hard. That's because they changed it a bit before making it a movie. First, they made John McClane, the main character, appear younger and had him save his estranged wife, Holly Gennaro, from the terrorists. In addition, the film increased the number of explosives, made unexpected twists, and changed the villain's name to Hans Gruber. In the book, Stephanie, the hero's daughter, and the villain both have tragic endings. The movie's a bit more cheerful as the villain dies and the couple reconciles, making it the feel-good movie we all love to rewatch. Due to the success of the original Die Hard movie, a sequel, Die Hard 2, which takes place only 2 years after the first, was greenlit. This movie is also inspired by the book and set around Christmas. Yay! The tradition continues. Die Hard 2 is adapted from Walter Wager's book 58 Minutes. This came out in 1987, a little while after the first film. Because the characters were so similar, the filmmakers and writers adapted the plot to John McClane's family and life while providing moviegoers with a gripping, action-packed sequel. The action sequences are exaggerated compared to the book, but let's just say it works. The movies have entertained us a lot and the franchise is memorable. So that's all for today from our side. Have you read any of the books we've mentioned? Were they as full of action as the movies? Now that you know, which book would you consider reading? Let us know in the comments below. See you next time.